All our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. Hey, what's up you guys, and welcome back to Thingamavlogs. If you couldn't already tell from the beginning of the video, yes, I did start this video off with a Walt quote because it is Walt Week on Thingamavlogs. Just this past weekend on December 5th was Walt Disney's birthday, so what better way to celebrate than Walt Week on Thingamavlogs? So because it's Walt Week, I wanted to share with you guys some fun and interesting facts I found about Walt Disney. Some of these you might have already known, some of these are quite surprising. So I think it's fun to share this man's journey in life with you and some of the interesting facts that went along with that. So starting off with Walt's childhood, Walt actually came from very humble beginnings. His father, Elias Disney, was super strict. Elias owned a paper route and made Walt work that paper route doing deliveries before school, after school, and on the weekends through the heat of summer to the 0-degree temperature of the winter. Elias Disney was a strict man, and Walt was a worker. Can you just imagine little Walt Disney just like biking through 3 feet of snow, throwing papers? I buy paper from him. Funny enough, early on in his career, Walt was actually fired from a newspaper company for quote-unquote lack of creativity. Now, I don't know about you, but I would probably have to disagree. Hot dogs. Yes, hot dogs were actually a huge part of Walt's career. He actually measured distance in hot dogs. If you know, in Disneyland, he specifically placed trash cans 25 feet away from hot dog stands because that's how long it took him to eat a hot dog. So he got his hot dog, he walked 25 steps, finished it, and threw it away, and that's how he measured the distance from trash can to hot dog stand ratio. That is specific. And funny enough, Mickey's first words ever were hot dog, which is why he says it a lot. Walt also still holds the record for 22 Academy Award wins and 59 nominations. That's a lot. Sorry, DiCaprio. Soon after Disneyland and right before Walt's death, he actually planned on building a ski resort based on like a Swiss village, but after he passed away, the Walt Disney Company decided to scrap the project and move forward with the Walt Disney World one. Now, after Walt Disney passed away, no one knows for certain what his last words were, but his last written words were Kurt Russell. Now, the world may never know why. Kurt Russell was just a young child actor that no one knows about yet, but can you imagine? I want to be Kurt Russell. And finally, a fun fact that a lot of people forget is Walt was human. A lot of people put him on this huge pedestal and think he's the greatest thing. He made no mistakes. He was the coolest guy ever, which is probably true. But he was human. He did make mistakes. And I think the best representation of Walt himself was the newest PBS documentary that came out back in September called Walt Disney: The American Experience. Follows Walt's life from making Snow White to creating Disneyland. It's a 4-hour special, and it goes into the unbiased opinion of Walt Disney. And I actually had a chance to sit down with Don Hahn, who is the producer of the documentary and many other amazing Disney films, to talk about what it was like, what he learned, and I wanted to show you guys some of those clips here.
It is. I mean, there's been a lot of work done on Walt Disney and some spectacular films and documentaries. I think what's interesting about this is enough time has passed. We're nearly 50 years past his life now. And the very first meeting that Sarah Colt, the director of this film, took was with Diane Disney Miller up at the Walt Disney Family Museum. So she had an appreciation. What's interesting, I think what's really good is she's a Disney fan in the way that the world is a Disney fan, but she's not a fan in the way that maybe the three of us are fans. So she has a clear-eyed kind of journalistic view of it, which I think is all the better. You want somebody on a story like this to go in and tell you the man's life, and not slant it, not try to defend him or try to slam him or what else. It's just what are the facts? Let's present the facts. And the facts, after 50 years, have to come from a lot of places. So one of the things she did that I really love is she went to eyewitnesses. So anybody else might have gone to historians, of which there are brilliant ones, but she went to people like Marty Sklar and people like Alice Davis, people who worked with the man, and Ron Miller, former head of the Disney Company and Walt's son-in-law, who and they all cooperated. They all wanted to be part of it. She found people like Ruthie Thompson, who used to work in scene planning and is a friend, and Don Lund, who's 102 years old, I think. And talked to them and got the truth from their perspective. So in a funny way, in a very clever way, it's like 10 blind men describe an elephant, because you're seeing all these different sides, some very personal from someone like Ron Miller, and some very business-like from Marty Sklar, but still about the magic and about who this guy is.
Well, that's it. Thank you guys for joining me here on Walt Week. If you learned something new about Walt, hit that like button. And if you want to see that whole video with Don Hahn, I'll leave a link down in the description below, and you can check out my weekly podcast that I do with my friend Jeff called Disney Coast to Coast. I will leave that down in the link below too, and make sure to stay tuned all week for more Walt videos, and I will see you guys real soon. Bye. Hot dog, hot diggity dog. I want a hot dog.